You are listening to the Paranormal Carnival with your host, Ryan Singer. We deep dive into discussions about the supernatural and the high strange with surprise guests. Anything can happen underneath the supernatural big tent. Welcome to Paranormal Carnival. This is the first one we're trying to live stream. I don't know if all the settings, if I've got it all figured out, or if the internet is robust enough over here at, the Mind Cave to be handling this right now. But we're gonna go for it, and we're gonna be recording it as a backup anyway. It'll be an episode. What happens on the Paranormal Carnival? You might be asking yourself. Well, what happens is, over the last 12 years, I've been doing the podcast Me Paranormal You, and I've interviewed so many incredible people over the years about their experiences in the paranormal, the mystical, the supernatural, the esoteric, their interests. I've done a lot of deep diving on different subject matters. When I travel around doing stand-up comedy, I also will, find weird things to go look at in different cities, et cetera, et cetera. And along that way, I've just kind of been sucked into this world that is, just beautiful, strange, and wonderful. And so I put out an open call to a bunch of people that I've become buddies with and who have been on the show over the years. And I let them know if they can pop in at any moment, even for just a few minutes, to feel free to do that. So it looks like, we'll be having at least a few people drop in tonight. I want to discuss on this particular episode, just because it's a subject that's near and dear and close to my heart, is the idea of comedy's role in the paranormal and the supernatural, or even the mystical, and maybe share a personal anecdote or two about that, and about my relationship with comedy, and how I believe to be, or how I believe the paranormal to be something with an intensely tuned sense of humor. And specifically, I believe that sense of humor is it's catered to individuals who have the experience. I mean, that is to say that the paranormal knows what your sense of humor is, potentially, or it knows how to really get you. And this has many different names over the years, and it's been personified as the trickster as well. Looks like I've got my buddy Mikey from the Strange Road popping in. Mikey, can you let me know if you can hear me all right? If you're able to hear me, Mikey.
Yes, sir. I got you loud and clear, man. I
Oh,
got
hell
you.
yeah!
We
There's
can
my
all
guy.
hear you. Can all hear you, buddy.
So, Mikey, I'm glad. Mikey is one of the co-hosts of The Strange Road, which is a live stream show. It's also a podcast. It is a wild, incredible show. I recommend everybody to check it out. Oh, we've got my buddy Jessica has popped in now. So, and this is how the Paranormal Carnival is going to be. We don't know when people are going to show up. We don't know how long they can stay, but we're going to make the most of these times. Jessica and Mikey, I don't know if you know each other or not. I don't think, Jessica, I don't think you've been on the Strange Road yet. And I say yet as if I'm the booker of Mikey's show, but I think that would be a match made in heaven, by the way.
Absolutely. I'd love to have you on, Jessica. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
I should probably get into that show. It's on every platform, I assume?
Yeah. Yeah, we're on YouTube. We stream, and then also do our interviews are mostly recorded and then premiered every Monday. So yeah, I'd love to have you on. We'll connect after this.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I'd be happy. I'd be happy to connect the two of you. And what's interesting too is the there's lots of parallels between people who are out there, looking into, discovering, playing with, trying to investigate all the things that are strange and weird. It looks like we've got Marisa LaGuardia showing up. Hey Marissa, how are you?
What's up, friends? Good to see you. Excited to
We've
be
got
here.
Mario, Jessica, Mikey, and me here so far. Thanks for joining the live stream. I don't know. I timed this pretty poorly because I've been traveling for like the last 5 or 6 days, and so I just got back last night, and so I don't know if the audio is getting actually sent out and fed to the live stream feeds because of, this is the first time I'm using OBS to try to spit out to multiple platforms. But regardless, I'm recording and I'll be putting it up as a video and a audio podcast later. But the I wanted to talk about the role of comedy in the paranormal and the mystical, just as a launching point for tonight's for this month's episode, and just to share a quick little story about what I mean. That the paranormal knows exactly who you are individually in a sense of humor kind of way, and it knows exactly how to get you, whether it's a prank or whatever. I was at this location in Florida where I had you know the shit scared out of me previously, and one night I was there by myself, just with the homeowners, and they were asleep. I was up about two in the morning. The TV kept just kind of going out, and it would stop working. The cable would stop working, which I found out the next day they never really experienced. Anyway, so okay, so we are live over on YouTube. Okay, great, thanks, Jessica. Um, so then there's this little lamp on an end table right next to the bed, and I'd been there a couple times previously before that, since 2019 when I had my initial experience there, but I'd never been able to sleep in the house with the lights off. And so on this particular night, I was like, it's like 2 in the morning. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna sleep with the lights off. I'm a grown up. I've been here before. Nothing happens. I can do this. And I have a window in this bedroom that faces the front yard. And now since I'd been there previously, they have all these different security cameras set up and they're motion activated. So if they go off, a chime sounds like a musical sequence of notes will play inside the house, so they know that something is moving in front of one of these three different gates they have. And one of the gates is the front gate right there on the fence, maybe 20 feet, 20 yards, maybe 50 feet from that window in the guest room. And so I click the lamp off to go into total darkness. And the second I clicked it off, the alarm goes off for the front gate, as if something was standing there watching the window, saw the light go off, and then decided time to make a move. You know what I mean? So I like I shit my pants. I immediately turned the lamp back on. I unplugged the TV. I reset their TV. I try to get the TV working. I'm watching, videos on my phone, and I'm just freaked out by and then I remember even saying out loud, like, you son of a bitch, you can't do that to me. That's not funny. And then by the next day, I realized, no, it actually is probably the funniest thing that this thing could do to mess with me. I mean, and obviously, and eventually I fell asleep. Nothing happened, and I've been back there since. I just got back about a week and a half ago, and it was a fine trip. But so like to me, that shows me that the phenomena isn't. I think it being funny can be mistaken for being frightening, if we're not ready for the comedy yet. And I'm curious if anyone else has had an experience where in hindsight they look back and it's one of the funniest things, but in the moment maybe it wasn't, or even in the moment maybe it was, relating to anything, whether it's high strangeness, paranormal phenomena, or just something mystical happening.
Oh, yeah. I can share an ayahuasca experience really quick that I now find funny, but at the time was the worst thing that's ever happened to me. It was
That sounds
horrible.
exciting.
It was
Definitely wanna hear
horrible.
about that.
So I was down in Colombia in 2023, and I went into a ceremony, beautiful, like in the Ecuadorian Colombian border rainforest. Incredible place. I'd never done that medicine like actually deep in the jungle before, so it was a whole other beast when you're in that space. But I went in with the intention of asking, why do I block love? And I got put into deeply against my will, no way around it, wasn't gonna make it out of that any begging or pleading, into what felt like an eternity of a solipsistic reality. You guys know what solipsism is?
Do you mind laying that out a little bit for
Yeah,
us?
so solipsism would be say that if I'll just put it into an I statement, if I believed that I was the only real thing and that I made all of you guys up, that I'm actually the only creator and I'm creating this whole space around me. But it was a horrible place to be because nothing was real and it felt like I had made every inch, every ounce of reality up. And it was a nightmare realm because I didn't know why I existed. I couldn't stop existing and nothing had any matter to it. And when I eventually, there's a whole long ordeal of how I finally got worked out of that. But looking back on it now, it was such a dramatic question to ask the medicine because I don't really block love that much. But I was feeling, I don't know, depression and drama at that stage in my incarnation. And it's like it took me into like complete disconnection and made me sit there for a minute and then slowly brought me back. And I remember when I was finally coming out, it was like there was a rave happening in the jungle and all I heard was this booming like loudspeaker, welcome to the New Earth party, and just lasers and lights and music, and I was just like, where did I just go? And it just gently showed me that reality is everything you could ever imagine, and I was choosing to look at it from like the point of a pinhead. And it was like you can do that as much as you want, but why would you pick that perspective? But it was an absolute nightmare. But I look back at it now and I'm like, how clever, how silly. But oh my God. Oh, yeah, it was rough.
Yeah, that's a great example. I mean, I like you said of like the scariest thing I ever experienced, and then realize it's hilarious now.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Now, do you think that if it came at you from a different way, maybe a more gentle way, or something that was a lot more accessible to just like being calm in the moment, that it would have been as effective in delivering its message?
I really think from my limited experience with that medicine that it will go it was my approach that created that experience. So I think if I had have come at it from another perspective that wasn't so dramatic, it wouldn't have whipped my ass as hard. So I think that it gave me exactly what I needed, which was and I do think there were things going on like apparently that entire time I was in that space, the Titan was like pulling like parasites, like people were watching him pull stuff out of me. So it wasn't like I was in that state and that dramatic for no reason, but yeah, I think that was my approach that needed adjusting, which I have very much learned. Learned that lesson. Don't need to do that one again.
Yeah, and it's
Well,
interesting too. Like it kind of reminds me somewhat of like, coming into this information that you didn't have in the moment about what was happening around you while you were gone. It almost rings to me of an out of body experience where someone is able to access information when they're supposed to be gone or out of it or knocked out, and yet they have access to information. So like you're getting this information later, right? That there was also this other stuff, this energetic work and these things happening
Hmm.
simultaneously that kind of mirror or go along with it.
Yeah, well, and just to like beef up the story because it's the most remarkable thing that's ever happened to me. I have a friend that's a dream walker. Sammy, she's an amazing artist and like I said, dream walker. And every person in my life that I would kind of recreate would just turn to dust in that solipsistic space, which was really scary and sad and alienating. And she showed up and like crouched down beside me and was like, "What are you doing under there?" And I was like, ah, I went to like wave her away and make her dissolve like everyone else had. And she was like, okay, like, well, when you're ready, we're all having a nice time out here. Like, whenever you're ready. I got back into service after being in the jungle, and I had a text from her saying she hoped I was doing okay because she had a dream she was at an awesome party and found me crying under a table. So that was her actually in that dream space being like, hey, come on. So that like unavoidable recognition of connection was what actually pulled me out. But Yeah.
Wow.
It was the fear was real. I remember the next day everyone was like, "Are you okay?" Because that seemed bad. And I was like, "Yeah, I need a minute." I had a moment.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really cool story. I
Mhm.
Jessica, I have a reflection on that, but if you have something else to say, Ryan, go for it. Can you hear
I
me?
hate to interrupt,
Oh,
Ryan,
wait a
but
second. Are you hearing this?
Uh-oh.
Is everybody hearing that loop happen?
No.
Nope.
Oh my God. Okay. Sorry. Give me 1 second here.
I wanted to mention, Ryan, I'm on your YouTube page and
Yeah.
I see your thumbnail, but I don't see video and audio hitting the stream. Just
It's
a
not.
heads up there.
It's not working. Princess Peach already. I was checking with Princess Peach. It's not rolling.
Oh, okay.
So we're recording right now. The live stream. We need like an internet booster or something.
Well,
Oh,
it,
okay. Yeah.
it
Maybe
looks
it
like
might be
it's
my internet.
live,
Yeah.
It's
but
live. The carnival thing is up. It's just like in
yeah.
constant state of I'm about to start. It's doing the whole circular motion on me. I haven't checked Twitch
Gotcha.
though. I have not checked Twitch.
Okay. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I can worry about all this stuff later.
Cool.
I'd rather just kind of focus on what we've got going on.
Cute chili, by the way.
But
Is there a loop, but is there a vocal loop happening? I don't hear it on my end, but
there
Mikey,
was
do
for a
you?
second, and it's because I
Okay.
had both the pages up, I think,
Okay.
just to try to monitor them and see if they were working. So I think one of them, the audio started to come through. So I've
Got
just
it.
kind of closed out those windows for now. But okay. So anyway, Marissa, what were you were saying something before I got freaked out by hearing myself talk when I
No,
wasn't
that's okay.
speaking.
I was a little nervous about the sound, so I'm glad we had a chance to figure that out because I was like, something's wrong. So I'm glad that we're on it. But yeah, Jessica, as you were talking before, you shared that your friend was a dream walker. Is that what you described it as? A
That's
dream
the
worker?
word we've that's the title we've given her as a collective here.
Excellent. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was thinking about a similar experience when, you wake up from a really scary dream and you tell your friends and they're like, "Oh, yeah, giant chicken monster with like googly eyes. It sounds really scary." But in the moment, it really is very intense and real. And I was thinking about, yeah, it just shows the permeability of our subjectivity and how we see it and our perspective is really
Mhm.
driving our response to what we perceive as reality. It's really, and it's so easy to get there, but I love that you had a friend to come in and just kind of like move your head a little over to the left and say, and we're gonna look at this, and that little tweak sometimes is all you need. And I feel like that's also very powerful. So we don't always have to have these huge transformative shifts that make things, there can be small things within the big things that really make moves. So I love hearing that. Super cool.
Yeah, it really showed me, like, I already believed that the mind was very strong, but it showed me just how powerful the mind is, how fixated on that belief I became.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And if
That
I
is
can nerd
wild.
out for a second, I have
Well, real
I
quick, before
go
you
ahead.
nerd out, I just want to say
Yeah.
hi to Kim. We got Kim who just joined us, just saying hello. Um, Jumping in there. So we're kind of talking about, you know, how comedy has been involved in paranormal, mystical, esoteric experiences, sometimes when they're even really, really scary the first time they happen, and then how they then later pop out and we realize how funny they may have been. But so we're kind of just waxing on that stuff. So
Oh yeah.
so let's so Marissa's getting ready to nerd out about something. So I love a nerd out session.
Dangling little carrot. What's it gonna be? I'm never gonna tell you. Just kidding. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm a closet anime nerd, and yeah, I really think I as a kid I watched a lot of anime, and I'm sort of really connecting with that as an adult again. And there's so many lessons and interesting things, also just about energy work that I learned from anime as a kid. I was like, oh, I would pretend to like blast my enemies with like a laser beam from my hands, and then when I started doing Reiki, it was like, oh, I pretended this when I was in the second grade, and I know what that feels like, so that's pretty cool. But um, the I don't know if you guys have ever watched Naruto, but it's a classic. But one of the main characters, Naruto, went through this whole transformation, and he's like in his glow up, I'm super powerful phase, And there is an attack. It's a show about ninjas, if people aren't familiar, but they're in a battle. The enemy has this ability to psychologically manipulate the person that they're against. So, if Ryan and I were fighting, I would do magic on him and make him see things that aren't real. If I was in Naruto, that would be definitely my power because I think that's really powerful. So people would be like, I'm drowning and I'm chained to like a cinder block and I can't move. And really, they're just standing there in the middle of the forest or whatever, in the middle of the battle. And so the only way to get out of it's called ninjutsu, I think. The only way to get out is if somebody actually touches you and says, "Hey, get out of there." But the main character, Naruto, gets so powerful that he's able to understand and know when he's getting hypnotized by this power and he's able to get himself out of it, which I think is really interesting and really cool. So I love that you had a moment of a friend helping you, and there are just different ways to kind of wake up,
Yeah.
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 I mean, it is wild to think about that as a superpower, being able to create people's worlds. Because I don't know if Noah's going to be able to show up, but because I've had a few conversations with him on this show over the years about the imaginal world and thoughts creating reality and all that kind of stuff. And it truly is a situation where we look at today's world and we see that there's everybody has their own reality that they can live in depending on the information that they digest or the thoughts that they have in their mind. And so that's kind of like an extrapolation on that. And it looks like Mario, you got your hand up. I don't even know how to raise a hand, but I'm glad you do. What do you got, Mario?
You guys were talking about there a minute ago, a couple tents back, I might have a comment about that, is all I'm saying. I might come back to that subject in a minute.
Which one?
Okay, so step right up, step right up, step right up. I'm kind of a counterpart around here, if you haven't noticed.
Chris, get on your mic a bit better if you don't
Can
mind.
you hear me?
Oh, sorry, Mary. Get on your mic.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I have my good mic on too. I need to
You just
one
sound
too.
muffled.
You guys sound muffled?
Muffled.
Okay, let me try to adjust that stage machinery. I don't know why that is.
It's getting better.
Is it?
Sounds a lot better.
Sounds better. Okay, I think she just needs to electronics are a little weird around me, you know that? Anyway, I haven't met Mikey. I've been setting up stage machinery. I'm behind. What do we got going on? I like what I'm hearing though. Catch me up real quick, but I do a couple tents back have more information on what you guys are talking about. But I'll let you go for a minute.
Oh yeah, well, we're just talking about how comedy is, how the paranormal or mystical and supernatural can present itself in comedic form, and sometimes it's terrifying, and then later we realize that it's funny. So yeah, that's kind of what we're talking about here. In general, that's the overarching theme here, and I know that. What's interesting too is kind of like the secondhand comedy that can happen. Like when someone gets the hell scared out of them, it can be really funny to everyone else around them. And so it makes me wonder if it's just not only a large component of experience in this world of the unknown, but if it's a necessary component for a release valve of the tension that happens when we're confronted with something that we can't exactly understand.
I think if you're afraid, you're generally taking things quite seriously. So the cosmic giggle would be the burst of that fear.
I love that.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, like immediately the imagery of like me and a couple buddies, we're in the woods, we've got thermal cameras, we've got the gear, we're ready to capture the elusive cryptid on camera. This is like serious business. Don't step on sticks or the dry leaves, don't make too much noise. And then a small bird flies out of the brush right next to you and everyone screams, shattering a wine glass. It's so high pitched, and it's a really funny moment that can like rattle you back into like, okay, let's settle down. This isn't the Navy SEALs or some shit, right? Like, or some
Yeah.
kind of thing like that.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen it reminds me of a similar vein. Have you ever seen I think it was probably an Instagram Reels or a TikTok or a short video on social media, of the little kid who just discovered his shadow for the first time? And it was similar. Like he was sort of standing in a more like a spotlit room, and he looks down and he you could see him just like, oh, what's that? And then he moved, and then it moved, and he was like, ah, 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 and he just starts freaking out. But it was because it was a shot. It was the funniest thing. But in that moment for him, terrified. Similarly, there was another video of a little girl. It was like a Ring camera, and it like showed her being chased by just like a family of ducks, but she was like screaming and running, but like through the camera, so you saw her like come into the frame like screaming mom, mom, with like ducks following her. It was hilarious and cute. It was so funny. But yeah, to her that was the worst day ever, for sure.
Yeah. I've, as a grown up and not very long ago, just a couple of years ago, I got the hell scared out of me by my double shadow. Has anyone ever had the double shadow get them?
I don't think I've heard
No.
about a double shadow.
So dark.
Yeah. Well, so Marissa, you've seen it. It's like, because maybe there's two powerful light sources coming at you simultaneously. So you expect to see the one shadow, and then all of a sudden there's someone else there, and you don't, and it scares you. And then you realize quickly that it's just another of your shadow in a totally different direction that you didn't anticipate. It's happened to me probably 3 or 4 times in the last couple of years, where I've just been in public and I've like yelped, because of it, and also I probably watched the movie Ghost too many times, where the shadow demons come up out of the pavement and suck that guy into hell or whatever. But yeah, so the shadow, any shadow that's like feels like it's coming at me from the pavement, I get a little startled by. Mikey, I'm curious, because you've gone out and you've done a bunch of crazy wild stuff, and
Mhm.
in the strange road, you talk to a bunch of people as well. I'm wondering if there was a situation that really sticks out to you, that it really got you, whether it was in the moment or later as being super funny, but at the time it was pretty wild and weird.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time when I went, this is years ago, but I went to basically like a ceremony out at a mound, at Serpent Mound actually. And there we were with a bunch of Maori elders, Dogon elders from South America, and we were trailing in back, but they went around the mound counterclockwise 3 times, and we were just kind of hanging out, but they're drumming, they're playing flute. It was beautiful. One of the most amazing things. And then it just started pouring rain. I mean, we were running to our car. There was nothing, and then boom, it just started coming down. So there was just like this weird shift at the end of that whole ceremony, and we got in our cars and we drove to our cabin, and we ate food and we hung out. And then later that night, we were out on the porch and we start seeing this bluish light coming through the trees. And I'm like, what is that? It's like, oh, it's just headlights. No, that's not headlights. There's no road over there. So we're looking at this thing and it's coming through the trees and closer. And I truly got super freaked out. It's like, this isn't what I signed up for. What is happening here? And so, they're all laughing at me because I'm losing my shit. And, I got my hoodie up like I'm a little kid, frightened. And we ended up, this thing wasn't going away. Then finally it moved away. So we go inside and I'm like, I need to get inside. And so later on we came out and there were all of these speckles of, like, imagine smashing a glow stick and then whipping the glow stick juice all over the grass in the forest. And that's what the whole floor of this field looked like. And I've heard them described as neutrinos. A Bigfoot lady told me they appear when Bigfoot are around. And so we walk down and we see where Serpent Mound is, and it's glowing blue. And we were just absolutely concerned, freaked out. But the next day is when we were able to laugh. Like, oh, remember how scared Mikey was last night when that light was coming? Everybody had a good laugh, and I could laugh at it myself. But in the moment, I'm not laughing at all. You know, it's but I feel like it was something that those elders had knocked loose in the land. We were right up on top of the crater is where this cabin was, so you could look down and see that area. And so there's just all this weird phenomenon that happened that night. But it was, it was concerning at first.
Yeah, I mean, it is wild too to think about how many times I've gone to look for something, and then the moment, of anticipation where I think it actually is getting ready to happen, I'm suddenly awash with panic. And
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those things too, where it's like, you're here for this and you're trying to experience it and see it and understand it. Even if it give me 1% of understanding of any of this stuff, and I'd call that a victory. But then in that moment, then that fear washes over, and it can be, it almost, I don't know, the physical combination of being just frozen or just wanting to run away is so powerful. I think I'm a pretty big flight guy. I got my flight card. I'm like a frequent flyer mile when it comes to all the flight from Paranormal Fright. But it is really funny the next day. And I mean, I slept in this place called the Sugar Shack for 4 nights about 2 or 3 weeks ago. A place where I had some crazy stuff happen in 5-6 years ago, and I never thought I'd sleep in this little shack again. And I made 4 nights, and then on the first day I wake up there, I'm woken up because one of my friends is banging on the outside of the shack. And the wall was about maybe 5 inches from my nose as I'm like sleeping. And then it was just boom, 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 and that's what wakes me up. But I knew somehow that it was them, right? So it didn't scare me. But it's one of those things where time can really make everything funnier.
Oh yeah,
if given the chance. But
yeah, in that moment when I was freaked out like that, and when he said, I feel like something out there is watching us, that's when the shiver came right up my spine, and I was like, nope, I'm going in. Whatever's out there. And my buddy's like, I feel like something wants to communicate I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not ready for this. I'm good. If I see, a little green man or a UFO or something pop out, and then, all of a sudden, right when I said that, we heard this owl hoot in the distance, hoo, hoo. And I went, nope, that's the sign. I mean, it just all happened like that so quickly. Call it synchronicity, but I really do think something was out there. Something was watching us. My buddy's pretty tuned in. And when he said that, that shiver went up my spine, and that was it for me. I was inside.
Yeah, less of a sign and more of a response, I think.
Yeah, I think it was a response.
Me. Yeah.
We've had some other owl encounters, multiple owl encounters when we're kind of on these trips. They always seem to pop up. Like one time we saw these little owls inside of a fireplace that was a potbelly stove, and they're just flapping around inside this thing. And then when I started to like tune into what they weren't owls anymore. They turned into these bug-eyed creatures, and that reminds me of, the Stephen King novel where the the ETs represent themselves as owls. So I think most owl experiences I've had have a connection to ETs as well, because it's happened so many times that it's hard for me to deny that connection.
Mm-hmm. Something about nocturnal. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to ask about, wasn't that the fourth kind? Is it that they made a movie out of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think about it all the time. It's scary, really scary. Go ahead.
Oh, owls are so sweet. I think there's just something about nocturnal animals being very close to like the dark or the feminine or the earth, and that ability to shapeshift and that ability to kind of move into different dimensional spaces. I just think most nocturnal creatures are really close to the dark. They're not bad though. Sure, there could be bad owls out there, but
Yeah, I had the hell scared out of me by a barn owl about 2 weeks ago. I don't know, 2 a.m, and and it's one of the barn owl's many weird noises, and just in the dark in the woods, and at a location that you're already kind of scared about, and then you hear this weird like hissing noise, and you're just like, oh, okay, I am ready to go inside because you can't see anything, but then you find out pretty quickly, that from someone who has any knowledge of it, that's like, oh, that's a barn owl. And then you're like, oh, okay, maybe I should learn all of these noises. But we've got Madeline has joined us. Welcome, Madeline, to the Zoom, to the Paranormal Carnival.
Hello, everyone.
Good to see you. We got Mario over here raising his hand. I think Mario's he's got something to what do you got, Mario?
Permission to tell owl stories, sir?
oh, I love this story.
Because everybody, here's the deal when we're podcasting and stuff. I know everybody's heard my stories, but Mikey hasn't, and I haven't met Mikey. Hi, Mikey. I'm Mario.
What's up, Mario? How are you, man?
Sorry, I was setting up stage machinery over here. What do you got? What do you got going on over there? I heard some weird noise happen. What are you doing over there?
With me? Oh no, that was. See, I got my little owl right here. I don't know if you guys can see this.
Oh yeah, rad.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's sweet. Oh, dude, I love your lights. Look at his stage machinery, sweet dude.
Yeah, he's all set up. What's the owl situation, Mario?
So one I forget who I told it to, but I told everybody. But so okay, the whole okay. I'm having there's a real, what do you call it, gray area between the 3D print and reality, and whether it's me or who's going on, right? What the deal is, right? It seems like these days. But the one time, for example, an owl thing, when me and owl started becoming buddies, was I happened to get one of those pocket rockets, right? The first time I ever did. The Divine Moment of Truth pen, it's like a vote, right? I somehow landed on my doorstep somehow, years and years and years ago, and I got the thing. It's like a magic wand, let's say, and I just wanted to do a mic check on it to see if it worked. So I went in my garage because Princess Peach didn't know I was getting it or nothing. So I went in the garage.
I'm sorry, Mario. Just give me a second to process the lingo of doing a mic check on a Divine Moments of Truth magic wand. Okay, that's
so much
so
like we're having.
So you're in the garage doing a mic check.
A little just to make sure it works. And make sure it's real.
No, I'm on board. I'm on board.
Okay. You got to just make sure it tastes like burnt Tupperware, right? So anyway, I freaking ripped that thing, dude, and it tastes good. It tastes real, and I'm felt it a little bit to where I kind of just had that glow about me. If you don't, either you know or you don't know. Especially with a pen, you can kind of slow roll it. You know what I mean? I could be in Colombia, fucking in this room in about 2 seconds, right? So anyway, I did a little mic check. It got a little Colombia-ish in my garage for a minute. I was in the jungle for a sec, guy. I go back to the house. Your mic is muffled when I get too close. Okay, I'm too close. That was a too close. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I thought it was not far away. Perfect. It's a two. Oh,
that's much better.
That's much better for my whole back and everything. So I'm sorry. So I come in the house. I didn't blast off, but I'm like, yeah, this thing's real. This mic's real, dude. I come back in the house. My wife's about to come home. I gotta be normal or whatever, which I was. I hide the thing. I go upstairs. I walk past my fire detector, the smoke alarm in my hallway, and that thing went off like it said, I know what you did, pal. And when I tell you, it went off, and I knew it. Just trust me, dude. I'm not justifying myself. I'm not trying validation. I'm just telling you my own thing. I knew it. I'm like, this is something up with this deal. I know I just ripped that pen. I'm like, okay, thanks, bud. Or, like, thanks, buddy, or whatever. So I turn it off. I didn't change that battery again for like 3 years. It wasn't dead. That battery lasted like under show like 3 times after that, dude. It was still the same battery. So that's the only time I had to reset it was that time. Okay, that's just one thing. My Princess Peach gets home. She wants to take a bike ride through Marshall and suddenly I'm like, dude, okay, all right. Like, I know I feel like I got, I ate a freaking Mario Star a minute ago.
Oh,
but
you
I
gotta
like,
back it up a little
You're
bit.
muffled.
Back it up.
I
Yeah,
I
yeah.
ride the, I'm sorry. I run a bike ride. We get on the bike. What are you saying now?
It's
Maybe
pretty,
try-
it's pretty muffled. Are you hooked up to the right mic, or can you like tighten a thing or unhook and rehook, or
Yeah,
'cause
let me
it's
try
never
a thing.
it's never this
let me
muffled
try a
for
thing.
you. Yeah.
I know this is my good
Is
mic
there a
too.
volume? Is there a volume on the microphone? Because it kind of
Let,
sounds.
let me make sure I'm on the
You
right
turn it
mic.
down a little bit and then back up.
That sounds good.
And
I'm
did
probably not
you
even.
did you
Oh.
define the divine moments of truth stick yet for the people listening that don't know?
Better now.
Well, now you're super
too
low.
quiet.
The Divine Moments of Truth stick is the DMT, dimethyltryptamine. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
I thought it was just a regular pen, but it's a pen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pen. I actually no, that I don't want to get Mario started. I actually have someone gifted me a DMT pen that I haven't done a mic check on it, Mario. Let me see. Hey, Mario, give me a check, Mario.
Check.
Well,
Check.
your volume is very down, but you're not muffled.
Let me come back. I'll be back.
It sounds
That's
good now.
better.
It's way
That sounds
better.
Sounds better.
I don't know
Yeah.
what. So when I tell you, okay, you notice what I'm talking about and what's fucking happening, by the way.
You gotta go slower. Keep the energy low. I know how electronics are around you.
It sounds much better.
I don't know what the deal is.
Ground your roots, my brother.
Hey, I brought a
So,
meditation. We should do it. You guys want to do it?
All right.
Yeah, let's do that.
No, well, hold on. I'm trying to control the electricity in my brain. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can check.
Guys, I would love to stay for this mic check, but I got 2 dogs that have been down here all day. If you can't see, they're wrestling around behind me.
I saw him. Yeah. Well, Mikey, thanks for popping in.
Of
Nice
course.
to meet you, Mikey.
Yeah, let's all connect. You guys are awesome.
Mikey, you got to watch this when it's posted tomorrow because I'm about to tell some crazy owl stories you're going to like.
I got you, Mario. I got you.
Mhm.
And
Well,
I'll
you have an
connect
owl
everybody.
story.
So we'll make that
Good
happen.
meeting you,
Again, Mikey, thanks for popping in. For anybody listening, you can watch The Strange Road. They drop new episodes every Monday. Tell Bubs I said what's up.
Will do.
And yeah, we'll talk soon.
All right, brother. Later, guys.
Nice to
So
meet
now-
you.
Nice to meet
So
all
now
of you.
we'll groove into a quick little meditation, and then we'll pick up with some owls.
Okay.
And yeah. So yeah, what do you got, Kim?
I just wrote something down. I just thought would be a perfect time because we need to ground. So, if everyone wants to close your eyes, just take a deep breath, feeling rooted here in the present. And just imagining roots extending from you deep into the core of Mother Earth. And bringing our awareness to the space between the eyes. And then bringing our awareness just a little higher toward the center of our forehead. Allowing our higher mind to come to the forefront. Allowing us to be the observer of any thoughts that may arise. Just noticing and recognizing we are the awareness, observing these thoughts. And calling back our power. Releasing any thoughts, beliefs, or patterns that are holding us back from our highest timeline. Calling back any soul fragments that we've left behind. Allowing them to be cleansed and returned to us in the present moment. Accepting our wholeness. We are perfect as we are. And we can always stop and focus on our breath, allowing our breath to remind us that we are safe, we are whole, we are conscious awareness. And now returning to our breath and our bodies, opening our eyes, feeling clarity and a sense of well-being.
Oh yeah. I I had to I'm on the second floor of my house, so I had to divert my roots around my housemates watching TV. And I don't like sometimes I wonder if I'm taking some of this stuff a little too literally, but I loved that. That was great. When you say move the awareness from in between your eyes to up into the forehead, I actually felt that physically.
Awesome.
That was rad. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Mario, let's hear how you sound. If he's he might
hello,
there he is.
hello.
You sound better. Your volume's a little low now, but you sound much better, I think.
So should I turn my gain up or down?
Turn it up a little bit.
Yeah,
Up,
just a
up,
bit.
up. Okay, can you hear me now?
Right there, perfect.
Right there.
Perfect.
Okay. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what the deal is with that.
Hey, don't worry about it. You sound good now.
Okay.
Mhm.
So me and my wife get on the bikes. We live on the dirt road. I was in the front. We took a right out of my driveway and instantly took a left going down another dirt road headed towards there's a longhorn steer farm down the road. That's beautiful, right? With the big longhorn steers that are gorgeous, right? So we turned left onto the road and I'm on my Gary Fisher. And what happens? A 12-point buck, and I'm not kidding you. I whatever, I don't hunt, I don't care. It's a fish story, but it's a deer story. It had a lot of horns on it, is all I know. It was a buck. And when I tell you, I was heading south, let's say, it was heading west, and it became a sea hair between my front tire. I almost hit the deer with my bike. I almost hit the deer with my bike. Like, literally, like, it was insane. Instantly, and I'm like on my bike, and my wife saw it. Princess Peach was right there. She saw it. She saw the buck. I'm stammering, and all of a sudden, an owl come at me like it was coming at me. My like a huge one came out of the tree. Instantly, I got double teamed by a buck and an owl. So, and then I'm like, oh my God, I knew it. I go, something's up with me with all this stuff. Because this is like, decades later after a bunch of other weird stuff that happened with that same kind of thing, that divine moments of truth substance or whatever, So anyway, I knew it was something up with that. So then fast forward a little bit later, me and my buddy are eating some MDA, which I don't know if you know what MDA is, but it's like MDMA. But well, yeah, Jessica says that. I agree if that's what she's saying. But anyway, we took some MDA. It's like ecstasy, but it's more like psychedelic. There's more of a psychedelicness to it. It was like it was tasted weird, dude. It was yellow and gross. And I made the mistake of mixing it with Sprite one time, and it was drinking it, dude. It literally tasted like I was drinking weird Wendy's kettle of brew, like it was the most horrible thing ever. It was gross tasting. Anyway, it's a great buzz, all right. So we're drinking brewskis, eating MDA, we're hauling ass, jamming Spangle and Beats Antique and Ott, and we got stuck in a time loop, dude. When I tell you, we were on a trail out in this national forest and we kept going, we kept ending at the same pond. I'm like, dude, how do you not get out of here? And his GPS wouldn't work. We looped around the same thing. Like we kept, and anyway, long story short, we were having a good time, but it was kind of weird how we couldn't get out of the time loop. We're hauling ass down this trail. We're jamming tunes. And I look up and I see a owl mean mugging me, looking me straight in the eyes for a while, long enough to where I said, stop, stop. I mean, I have a video of it. Stop, stop. We're jamming tune so loud, he stops. I get a video of it, and it swoops me. It swoops us, goes away. My buddy has never seen an owl in his life. Ever since then, he's got owl issues. He had ducks falling out of this tree onto his head one day. There was a lot of birds. That was just the one bird thing. So there was like birds. There was a duck that just come out of the landscaping on us. I got videos of all of it, dude. All my stories are not
love
fiction.
the phrase he's got owl issues now. But you bring up an interesting phenomena, right? That, and of course these stories to the rest of us, when you hear about just ducks falling on a guy's heads, to me that's hilarious, right? But the idea too that, I don't know, partaking in some kind of mind altering substance can potentially alter our vibration, our physical signals, whatever we're sending out, that is somehow communicating or calling in owls, which is for Mario, it's owls and, maybe bucks, but for other people it might be a different animal. Or, I know that if I go meditate on certain trails here in Los Angeles, and if I close my eyes and I can actually really get into it, if I open up my eyes, I can have a bunch of lizards around me. So for me, it might be lizards. For Mario, it's owls. Now your buddy has got, I don't know if it's hitchhiker effect or not, or he just got blasted open. Now he's got ducks falling on his head. That's
okay. So you want to know the duck thing? It's a whole story. They were literally baby ducks hatching out, falling on his head, dude. I'm like, what? So I'm, this whole you create your reality thing, right? Well, the whole wrestling promo thing's the same thing. Okay. So I cut so many promos about owls on him after that. I don't know.
So you cut a bunch of owl. Now, for those who are listening and they're like, what the hell is even being talked about? I will give you my best description of it briefly. Mario will cut wrestling promos, essentially send you clips, text messages, photos, random things, hyping something or a connection, a synchronicity between something. And then sure enough, that is likely to be popping up right in front of your path as you walk, whether visually, mentally, or whatever, throughout the course of the day or very soon after. So that's kind of a longer definition of what cutting a wrestling promo on somebody is. So if Mario starts texting you a bunch of Snickers bars and chocolates and nuts, be damn sure you're probably just gonna like find a Snickers bar on your car later that day, or somehow something related to that, but or something with satisfying your hunger. But right, I pretty much got that right, Mario, or close, pretty close.
So here's the deal, though. I'm sorry. I have apologies, a lot of apologies to give to everybody. And are
you cutting a promo on us and we haven't known it? Is this what you're apologizing for?
I'm cutting a promo on myself.
Okay,
because I've been a crazy maniac. But I'm gonna show you something. I gotta come out of the closet with some shit real quick. So, I say I'm not always in control of the ship or whatever, right? Well, how do you mansplain to a bunch of witches that you think you're haunted all the time, that you're getting man controlled by, I think I'm getting puppeteered by, Marilyn, Mimi, Oscar, Pete, this and that and other thing, right? But I'm at one with it. I like it. But due to the fact that I overdid that substance we're talking about earlier, I'm not trying to promote anything. But, I'm a canary in a coal mine. But I lived. Right? You put a canary in a coal mine and they die normally. Well, I'm the one that just keeps going back and forth. But you shouldn't go in there. So I do as I say, don't do as I do, right? So due to the fact that I was in the Volkswagen van in a driveway and I blasted off the Black Sabbath, Spiral Architect, and I woke up in my backyard in a Kundalini position that I couldn't, I was skinny then. I had my legs behind my back. You know what I mean? I was in the yard. And then another time I got grabbed so hard that, I think I opened up a portal in a poster. I got grabbed so hard. I woke up. There was me and my buddy. It's like they had me beat him into the gang, put it that way. I was hurt. He wasn't. He loved it. That's a weird thing. All I'm saying is I've been in that. I think I've had some street fights in that world a couple times, right? So I think something about that makes me not only permeable to it, but it also makes me, again, when the going gets weird, the weird turn pro. So I think I'm kind of a pro there, right? So I've been running my mouth about the calendar so much, and I've been running my mouth a lot about a lot of other stuff. So I happen to say that Oscar is like the sheriff, right, or whatever, and Oscar's this, and Oscar, the postman works for Oscar, which that happened today too. But I say that the calendar works for Oscar, right? So last month I said something about I was making jokes about the entertainment industry. There's problems with it or whatever, right? And when I say, I'm talking about when I talk about the land of milk and honey and the land of fruits and nuts, nobody get offended or whatever about the fruits and nuts thing. It's a thing they say. And again, don't take offense. If you're not a fruit and you're not a nut, it's okay. And I just mean rotten fruits and rotten nuts. There's good fruits and there's bad fruits and there's good nuts and all that stuff, right? So, okay. So I'm gonna do a little magic trick. I'm gonna open up the stage real quick, and we're gonna see what I'm just checking the calendar, and I'll leave you alone. But when I tell you, it makes me very happy that we'll see. So let me change cameras real quick, and we're just going to check the calendar.
Okay, you change cameras real quick, and I'll just give a quick update for context. Someone might, if you're tuning into this program for the first time ever, you might be wondering who Oscar is. So Jessica, would you mind giving a brief intro to our friend
who
Oscar?
is Oscar? But I have
Yeah.
to. But go ahead. But I just wanted
Okay.
to just point out that I was Oscar on the show as my first alias.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I'll cover that one. Yeah. So one of the first times that I worked with DMT, I broke through real good. And I ended up meeting this entity in there that explained to me what the universe was. A few years went by, didn't really think about that experience often, and then started working with a practitioner. I was practicing under her to be able to do mind body healing. It's really hard to find the words to describe that energy work these days, but I ended up reconnecting with that entity through a synchronized stream of events that were very undeniable. And talk about sometimes feeling afraid and then later on noticing it was funny. The way I was kind of cornered into accepting that this thing that I met in that DMT space was kind of coming more into the 3D reality, and I was trying to communicate with it. I felt like I was going pretty insane, and it was a little rough and scary a lot of the time until I finally accepted it. But that's what Oscar is. But I will just preface that the entity itself has told me many times it is just the field of reality expressing itself through a symbol that I will understand, so I'll communicate with it. It is not I say it's a little bit of a I don't know what word I would use, maybe a little like too surface level, but I would say it's just as real as you and me, just as real as Ryan, just as real as Mario, meaning that we are all the field of reality. So I try to make it so when I'm working with clients and Oscar's being channeled, we don't grab onto that entity as some knower of all things. That's not a safe way to approach anything, I don't think. So that's my blurb on Oscar, but wonderfully funny, uses humor to help people heal, blows me away with the way that it operates and the way that it can get through to people that are quite closed off. So
Sometimes known to wear a cowboy hat.
Always wears a cowboy hat. Shows up as the white elk is a very prominent symbol that it uses a lot as well. And like, God, when I need that entity, I was in the middle of Colombia in a bit of a weird situation. I remember saying, if you are around, just show me anything. And there was a poster with like the rainforest, and on the bottom it just said Oscar. And I was like, okay, you're here.
That's wild.
Cool. Yeah, yeah. Did I listen to the advice? No, I kept on doing the thing I shouldn't have done, but it was fine. It all worked out.
But I guess that's what one of the things that potentially makes us people. How's the stage machinery going over there, Mario? You got the calendar set up?
Yep, I got everything ready. But you got to go through the tunnel. We got to go through the stages here real quick first. But it's going to just take a second. So, okay. So I believe, can you hear me guys good?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I believe that there's been lots of examples, and I could show you an example later. This is not what I'm talking about right now. But, it doesn't matter. But I happen to believe that Jessica connected me to Oscar. And there's been things to where I believe, so if it is just the field, we're both really good at playing the field. I say we're both game genies. So we can get memos back and forth. We have a long time to where Oscar, as far as comedy goes, Oscar has helps us do hilarious jokes on each other. So okay, I happen to think I would call it Oscar, but to me, Oscar is the travel agent for all my guides. So I will say this: Jessica connected me to Oscar. Oscar, I think, led me to connect with Marilyn. And then one day, Marilyn introduced me to Edward. And then Edward introduced me to a joker and a goddess. And then a goddess introduced me to Howard. And I think I'm dead serious. I'm not going to explain it all, but I think that is why this poster magic thing I've been saying for so many years, now I can turn it into calendar magic somehow. Again, it's just synchronicity. It's just a coinky dink. But however, I think that Howard is one of my guides. So, okay, we're going to open up the tent right now.
Okay,
Hold
so
on.
we're going to open up the tent now. Oh, okay. So that was there in front of
So, okay, American. So look at that. So, okay. So for instance, I bought one pack of these cards to do a reading on Jessica.
some. We're
So
looking
when I
at
say-
I'm doing this because not everyone's going to be watching this. So we're looking at an American Tail 50 Goes West trading card box of cards. Okay.
So I did a one card reading for Jessica. That I bought one pack of these cards. I forgot I put that in there, so I actually set up a booby trap for us. But this is a great story, and this is a box of unopened cards. I opened one pack. I did a reading on it. It's a long story, but the reading was interesting. I call it an unopened trading card pack reading, where I take an unopened pack of trading cards, I open up, and I do a reading on it. I had one pack of these cards, and I did a reading for Jessica, and it was a cool reading, and I was running my mouth about how cool they were. Well, the next day, my mom and my sister went to an antique mall up north. They sent me a picture of what? When I tell you this is a mint condition, full box of unopened whatever, dude. It was like the next day. And she also sent me a Smurf that was holding a mirror. She bought me a Smurf holding a mirror, is what she sends me. You know what I mean? So in my mind, Jessica and Marilyn and that were mirrors. It's kind of a thing. So when she look at this, it's like, dude, my bologna sandwich bag looks older than this thing. So whatever, they got it. It's kind of cool. So I give that example of, as far as I'm concerned, whatever. The next day that happened, it was cool. So okay, we'll get rid of this deal. But okay. So everybody's reality tunnel is different, right? Everybody's reality tunnel is different. I just bought this today. Okay, so I did do an antique reading. This is a part of that too. So everybody's reality tunnel is different. But when you can kind of send each other cool, fun stuff, just saying, okay, maybe you did, ain't going to hurt nobody. You know what I mean? So whatever. But anyway, I've been doing some psychometry, I think, with this.
Or psychometry, or is that?
So it's in this book, and I bought one for me and for Jessica. And we'll get into that maybe a little bit more, because all I know is that page I sent you, the psychometry.
What is
There's
so
so much. You have
going
so
on,
much
Chris?
stuff going on.
So this is a train. This is actually a train tunnel. Is the deal? That's a train tunnel.
Okay.
So
this ties into your calendar readings.
Well, this is the journey. You had to get past the tent, and you got to go through my reality tunnel to get to my new entire. This is a whole kit, dude. This is a whole other story. Hold on, there's a magic kit that I just got for cheap. I've been setting intentions to. Not only do I want something perfect, I want what I want, but I want it at a dirt cheap price. That keeps happening because I have no money, because I have no job. So okay, ready? So but hold on. When I tell you I've been complaining about Hollyweird or whatever, and that last month, a month ago today, I was saying some crap about it. Well, okay, today in my opinion, what happens if you let a bunch of fruits and nuts control your reality? But I don't let them control my reality. So I'm telling you, the Garbage Pail Kids say that Andy Apple and okay, I think I got to the bottom. I think I figured out your squirrel problem, bro. And actually, Madeline had some squirrel problems too. So Fozzie's in here with his. Hold on. Can you
Yeah,
see
my
that?
squirrel's a avocado bandit.
So actually, Fozzie's in there. So okay, Madeline's. We recorded really good stuff. Me and Madeline did. Dude, we have a circus. We have an orange avocado squirrel circus recorded. We got to get out. So there's Fozzie that I just found. With Kai brought. Actually, Princess Peach bought that for me. So anyway, come out of the magic thing, waka waka. So it was yesterday. It's if the early bird gets the worm, I say let's sleep in any waffles. Well, I agree with that. We all know that. So okay. No one wants to touch your nuts. Stop asking. So when I tell you,
squirrels,
when I tell you that, you know, whatever, that Howard is teaching me how to harness the power of fruits and nuts.
you got an apple pie, and you got
actually, okay, I got another
nuts from a
calendar over
squirrel.
there. So you see that calendar there? I'll grab it, but that's what results if you let fruits and nuts control your reality. You know, coffee talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a break for a minute.
So
But I got
is the gist of where we just traveled to Hollywood's Corrupt?
it's beyond that.
Okay.
It's beyond that. Yes, but yes.
Are they demons?
Yes, but Marilyn told
Lizard people?
Marilyn told me Amala the secrets of the universe the other one night.
There's so many of those. I can't wait to hear which one you guys get.
Well, before
there's
we start
a couple
unwrapping,
good ones though. I'm not going to get into that necessarily, but I think I
well, as someone who lives
idea.
in Hollywood, I just have to say, I've been called nutty and before, but I don't think Chris is Mario, excuse me, is referring to me controlling people's realities.
No.
But it speaks to the wait, are you going to backtrack that maybe I am? Is that what that is?
I don't. Are you not?
No, I'm definitely. I am not actively pursuing the control of other people's realities. But I will say this:
neither am I.
But when it comes to trying to understand the the secrets of the universe, I think we just kind of briefly touched on. I don't know what other people do, right? And I think everybody has to figure out whether it's divination procedures or styles, but there is something, because everybody has weird stuff happen to them when they start participating in the weird reality of the universe. I think if they're open to it and they're paying attention, right? And I'm curious. I mean, Mario's got a whole circus tent, and characters and things that he's got going on, that helps him try to, categorize, organize his thoughts, they're divination tools. They're also explanation tools. I'm curious about what everybody else really prefers to use as well when it comes to, trying to make sense out of whether it's information from source or just trying to understand manifestation or visualization.
Can I blab?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'll blab. So first things first, I think understanding the way I view reality helps with this. Like when it comes to the idea of the secrets of the universe and trying to understand and trying to get to the bottom of things, I believe, based on my experiences, that we are in the bardo and that everything is possible. So within your reality structure, the more you dig, the more secrets you're going to find, the deeper it'll go. It'll never stop creating as you look. And that's the same for any direction. If you're like a Christian or someone in the middle of nowhere in a hunter-gatherer tribe, you're going to have your own community culture that's creating the reality. But lately, I always love working with my Oracle deck when I'm working with a client just to give myself a bit of separation. But personally, I've just started talking to the elements. So if I have a question that feels really heart-based, I'll ask the air. If I have a question that feels really root-based, I'll ask the earth. So especially as a woman, like with the moon cycle, like offering my blood to the earth and asking for the clarity on a question. And I have never received answers faster than when I began working with my moon in that way. So that's
wow.
the elements and like the kind of the more raw aspects of the place that we're in is where I've started turning to in recent years.
That's really cool. Kim, what's your go-to right now?
My go-to for the longest time was just I did meditate with the moon cycles, like just the new moon and the full moon. Like I would base my like I have my own little ceremonies, so I'll journal. If I need a haircut, it's like based around, the full moon and what I'm releasing at the time. I have to plan everything out, which that's got to be coming up because I haven't had one in 2 years. So I got to wait for a really good full moon for that. But now it's just mostly just meditating. I do hold crystals and I just set intentions and just want to be present. And I feel like I try to be present in every moment of my life. And I feel like every moment and every conversation recently has been somewhat meaningful or circling back to something, or I just feel like a lot of puzzle pieces in life and a lot of things have been making sense about things I've even wondered about myself recently. So I don't know.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I love a moon meditation too. I mean, I used to be, it's funny, I used to be a full moon guy. And now I feel like I'm fully a new moon guy. I've got this joke that I wish worked more. I tell people, I go, I love a new moon because my mom left when I was younger. So I love a strong female presence as long as I can't see her. And like audiences, sometimes they really get it. And then other times they're just like, what the fuck are you talking about? And
Yeah.
my mom is around. I don't want people to get sad if they're listening to this, but it's mostly a joke. But there's something really powerful about the moon and being a water sign. I'm drawn to. I feel like I'm controlled by it, but like not necessarily in a bad way. But Madeline, do you have a go-to for like, let's say you're like, oh man, I really can't figure out which way to go with this choice I have to make right now. I need to go to my trusted source of answer finding.
Okay, so I've actually have been messing with the new divination, and it's gonna sound crazy, but I've been calling it trash therapy.
Okay, I'm already on board.
Trash therapy.
So I essentially, do what I do typically. So like if I were, like searching for answers, I guess, through meditation or whatever. So I do the same concept, except I go for a walk and look for trash. And I find messages and symbolisms and meanings in what I come across. And it's actually been really effective lately. So I've been going with it, and it looks like Mario's bringing some of the trash therapy into play.
Yeah. Well, that's fascinating. Is there an example of a piece of trash that really gave you you don't have to get into the personal details of it necessarily, but is there a piece of trash that spoke to you?
Yeah, so I had shown you, because I think I saw you maybe the day after. This was actually the day that I kind of came to this idea of like, I'm gonna try this trash therapy. So I was at the beach and one of the first things of trash I came across was a Christmas tree, which I think I showed you a picture of the Christmas tree on the shore. And me and Mario have this thing where, he says that he's Chris Mess, the Garbage Pail Kid. Um, and right before I did my trash divination, I had told Mario, hey, I'm going to go and talk to the ocean, Mother Earth, see what messages she has. And that was one of the first things, was the trash or the tree on the shore. And I was like, okay, this must be for Christmas. And
Oscar, just a note, Oscar has called me Christmas is also, he said,
okay, so was Oscar.
So Oscar has called me that. That's kind of where I started. And the Garbage Pail Kid is like a Santa Claus. Name is Christmas.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I do recognize the Chris Mess from the Garbage Pail Kids. So you found the tree. That's the first thing.
Yeah, so that was the first signal of, okay, Christmas. And then,
just to be clear too, for people listening, like a Christmas tree on the beach by the water, like a very out of place situation, right?
Yeah, not typical beach trash, I would say.
Yeah, not typical at all.
And then after that piece of trash, there was another one that said, so this goes back to Jessica was saying how Oscar likes to be funny and bring jokes about. So the next piece of trash was a quickies, is what it said. It was PR quickies, which we know that's something Mario also says a lot, that he has stuff PR'd. He's been PR'd, right?
Pre-rolled.
Right.
Prepared.
That's funny. The yeah, and especially the out of place thing to me is pretty significant, because when something is super out of place, it's to me, it really sets up humor. It's funny. Mm-hmm. And also related in a weird way, when you try to understand, like, or researching cryptids, like these creatures that are outside the scope of, normal anthropology or zoology or whatever. A cryptid also, it's not just a creature that hasn't been identified officially with like a sample or had its DNA studied necessarily. It's also pertains to an animal that is super out of place, that doesn't belong somewhere, and there's no real explanation for how this particular creature would be somewhere where it's not supposed to be. Maybe a couple continents away from where they originate, and there's no like explanation through like boats coming with people bringing pets or that kind of thing, right? So something that is super out of place also can be classified technically as what would be a cryptid. And because to me that's hilarious. Like if you saw a panda bear hanging out in, I don't know, Brazil or something, right? And there's no reason for like if you saw a panda bear hanging out on the beach in Brazil, I would laugh my ass off, right? But there's something really funny, and I think humor also catches our attention. It's a good job of like flagging us down and making us pay attention to maybe what's happening around us or in the moment. And it's usually a surprise, which is nice as well. But Marissa, do you have anything that you're going to right now?
Yeah, I have a couple different sources. As a visual artist, I'm always looking at signage and just like other people's arts, but I also like to use oracle cards. So sometimes like if I really want to connect and tap into my intuition, I'll just like smoke some weed, do some yoga. I have my sketchbook next to me, but I'll also just like move my body and allow like I will like create openings in my field to receive the energy. And so I'll do some sketches, and a lot of the times what I draw, I'll see out like either in a reading or things like that. And I guess I'm just talking about anime tonight, but I get a lot of synchronicities in anime.
Have you
So
seen Dan to Dan?
Yes, I sure have.
I've watched
I've
the
al-
first two episodes, but I have to finish it. It was recommended from a friend of mine. It's wild. It is wild.
It's very
Anyway,
good. And I just like demolished the manga. I just like finished the seasons and I was like, okay, I don't usually read, but lots of synchronicities there. So I actually have an owl related synchronicity that I forgot about, but I have a an album in my phone that just like a sync album of all the images. So if I can really quickly share about that,
yeah,
I would love to. But this was also about another anime that I was watching that I don't really love, but it had an interesting plot line. So it's called Tokyo Ghoul, and it's about ghouls, and it's the fight between like ghouls and humans. And there is this one, the main character he's a human who ends up becoming a ghoul because he died in a way. He has like a ghoul DNA implanted from him from surgery because there this whole thing. So anyways, like he's a half ghoul, and so one way to tell what the ghouls are like is their eyes. It's interesting that Mario is showing the eyes because they have these black eyes with red pupils, and so he's a half ghoul. So he has half of his eye that's black and red, and the other half is regular. And so he's like the one-eyed ghoul, and there's this like lore about this one-eyed king, and there's also a character called the owl who also has a one eye. And so like there's this owl character and like single eyes. So I was visiting with some women who I'm just like a part of a healers group, and we were having wine, and I looked at the wine label, and it was called the Winking Owl. And I was like, that's really funny. I was like just in the middle of watching this anime. We got the Winking Owl. Let's see if I can, I don't know if this will show
that is really
on
funny
here.
because essentially it's a one-eyed owl.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, cool. And so we were walking on the property, and my friend's home is like beautiful in the woods. She's got like a little lake, and we were just walking, and I find a big striped feather. I love birds. I have a big old bird tat. I find feathers a lot. That's another sync for me and a connection with spirit. But I found a barred owl feather on the walk, and I had just found one recently. Here's some more feathers, but I found another one to add to it. And so yeah, I had some. So I'll just like be out in the world and I'll just kind of like pull certain things. Also, U-Hauls speak to me a lot, like very specifically.
Like the moving
And
trucks.
yeah, the moving trucks. Yeah,
Semi
my
semi
semi
trucks with all
trucks.
the random words that come up on them in the moment that you just needed it, you know?
Hmm.
Crazy. Billboards, yeah.
Billboards, semi trucks. Yeah, I used to when I made paintings in undergrad, I would paint images of the backs of semi trucks because they look like paintings to me. So I was really interested in like the shadows in them because they're already like a rectangle, and I just imagined like taking that as a painting. So I painted garbage too. So Mala, that's interesting that you had like garbage things because I literally have paintings of garbage cans and dumpsters and stuff that I was really interested in. But yeah, so yeah, psychometry too is pretty cool. But yeah, there's a lot. So, but I'll kind of just like pull from a lot of different sources and just meander my way through reality and see what comes up. But I'm always looking.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
Mm.
Yeah, I want to try all of these that I've never tried before.
Mm. I
And
was, oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna follow Madeline's trash therapy. So when I say I'm doing the elemental work, like I'm like I knew I needed to get out of this relationship that I was in like a year and a half ago. And I went outside and I asked the rain. I was like, just show me what I need in this. And I was walking with my dog and I found an eight of hearts in the puddle on the road. And I was like, all right, so like the eight of cups, heartbreak, leaving, walking away, letting something go. So like those are the ways like when the elementals they give you trash basically. So yeah, same. I'm gonna start calling it trash therapy though, because I like that way more. And then one more with the license plates. I was planning on leaving one job and jumping to another job, which I had done in 2020 as well. And I remember I was driving and I was like, I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to make the leak. I'm going to do it. And a car pulled out in front of me and its license plate said BRB 2020. I was like, all right, we're going back to 2020. We're going to do that same thing again. We're going to try it again. This time it'll stick. But yeah, I love those are all such fun modalities for divination.
That is really BRB 2020. I love that. The I want to do We only got a few minutes left here. I appreciate y'all jumping in. I want to do, I've never busted out my Zener cards. If you don't know what Zener cards are, they were developed by parapsychologist J.B. Rhine. There's 5 of them, which I think is fitting because of the elements here. We were talking about the elements. And you might even say that they kind of can relate to the 5 elements. So you basically got, water or wind, whatever, however you see that, a star, circle, a square, and an X or a plus sign, depending on which angle you've got it. And they use these in parapsychology tests and, controlled laboratories for a randomness thing to see if people can, tap into their telepathic abilities and understand. They'll usually have one person looking at a card sometimes, and then the other person tries to guess what they're looking at, which of the 5 symbols they're looking at, or they will just predict which card will be coming next in the deck. And as a reminder, I'll have this up because I know these symbols aren't necessarily, not everyone knows what the Zener cards are. So now I've been shuffling these for a few minutes now. And so I'd like to see the longest run we can get collectively, potentially, of getting the right card, of sensing the right card. I don't know what cards are here right now. So as a fun little experiment, do I need to keep that up for everybody, or can we remember plus sign, square, circle, star, squigglies? If you let me see if there's somewhere I can hold it.
Yeah. If I grab a photo of it on the internet, can I throw it in the chat?
Take it on your phone.
Yeah.
Zener, Z-E-E.
Oh, how about this?
That works.
There we go.
Okay, so we'll keep them there. So let me just do one more little shuffle, and we'll see. Well, we'll try to do JB Ryan proud. By most people's accounts, one of the least really big proponents of parapsychology. Okay, so Jessica, let's have you go first.
Is this top of the deck or bottom of the deck?
Let's do top of the deck, and I'll hold it up to the camera so we'll all see what it is at the same time.
Get in circle. Oh no.
Okay, so star. Okay, I'll go next. I think it's a squiggly. No,
there's circle.
You were ahead of time. You were in the future. Mario.
Square. Hey. Oh.
Okay.
Plus.
Okay. Kim.
Where? Squiggles.
Squiggles. Okay. Mala.
Go with the plus.
Star.
I'm queuing
Marissa?
up I'm queuing up a magician right now, so hold on. I cue Sam the magician. Hold on a second.
Circle. Damn it.
Okay, so let's do one more round, and then I'm going to be looking at the cards and sending the symbols after this next round.
Yeah.
Okay, so start with Jessica again.
Squiggles.
Okay, we got one.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Kim.
Circle.
We just needed to warm up.
We are already beyond the realm of probability, for the record. So, Mala?
I'm gonna go with square.
Oh, I thought we had it. Okay, Marissa?
Star. Damn it. Yeah.
Square. We're ahead of time. I'm gonna say I think it's also a squiggle. Oh, circle. Mario, you don't have your microphone on, but I'm gonna guess Mario's gonna say probably. I think he's gonna say square. What do you think, Mario?
Squiggler. And I'm using
Squiggler. We got Squiggler.
When I tell you I have a magician on the line, I'm using my brain for that, but I did happen to get the squiggler. So I think me and Sam might have got the squiggler there. Thanks,
Okay,
Sam,
so
for
now we're
helping
gonna try
me.
to keep the run. We all want to try to keep this run going. Jessica,
I don't want it, but it's square. Sweet. Okay.
it's a
I
square.
don't want it.
I don't want
Oscar.
it, but it's a
I
square.
was like star, and I could feel him like square, and it's like fine.
Okay, Kim.
Plus sign or X.
Star looks like. Okay, we've got. Okay, now I'm gonna look at these. We got 2 in a row twice. That's pretty good collectively, I think. Now I'm gonna look from the bottom. And okay, we'll start with Marisa on this one. Okay, I'm looking at it.
There's not a triangle, is there? No.
There is not a triangle, but there is one that's
There's a
actually.
triangle. Hold on, look at it again. Hold on.
Okay.
Where does it say? Okay, there's only 5. We can do this. Come on.
Oh yeah, there's actually
Focus,
yeah.
they're literally right there. Oh. All right, go ahead.
Okay, I'm looking.
Plus sign?
Star. I think
Star.
you were kind of seeing
Yeah, I
star
think
when you
maybe
saw
I was.
triangle. Okay, so Kim,
Square.
squiggler. Okay, Jessica,
Where?
plus sign.
That's the one I thought. Wait, okay. I keep it going. It's good. Yeah.
Mario. Mario, I'm staring at a symbol here. Which one am I looking at?
Mike. Mike's off.
X or plus.
Star.
Darn it, dude.
So now I'm gonna
I should
try.
have went
Now,
with my gut. I should have went with my gut. My
yeah,
gut was
always go
was
with your
star.
first thought, best thought.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna
star.
try
Best
it.
thought.
I'm gonna try it.
Okay.
Square. And I was right.
Amazing.
Oh, it's so good.
Wow.
These are interesting. I've never used these before. Ideally, what you do with these, I think, is you just kind of boom, boom, boom them, right?
Yeah,
with
let's
maybe
one more
like one
round.
person at a time. You want to do another round?
Yeah, one round. First thought, best thought. No
First thought, best thought.
pondering.
Don't even
Can you-
don't overthink it. I think. Let me see here.
I love
I
it.
have
I'm
a-
so into
A
this.
thought.
Okay.
Brian, can you look at it but say the shape in your mind?
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Or we can do other things. I'm curious to see.
I can do that. First
Okay.
thought, best thought.
Like,
So
say
as
it
soon as
and
I'm
throw
looking at it,
energy.
as soon as I pull up the card, you'll know I'll be saying the thing in my mind. Okay.
Okay.
We'll start with Jessica.
Circle.
Circle. Okay. Now let's mix up the order a little bit. We'll go Mario. You ready, Mario? He might be out setting up some machinery. Let's go, Marisa. Ready?
Star.
Square.
I meant
Let's go, Mala.
square.
I'm gonna go with the squiggles.
Plus sign. Kim.
Star.
Plus sign again.
Mhm.
Let's go, Jessica again.
Squiggles.
Star. Mala.
Star.
Squiggles. And we'll go Marisa.
Circle.
Circle it is. Something interesting that was happening too was we were always one. We were like, I think it was like 3 in a row. We were one ahead. Ready? Let's go, Kim.
Square.
Star. And Jessica.
Square.
Squiggles.
Dang. Then
Mala?
squiggles.
Circle.
Square.
So close. Right there.
Go back to Marisa.
Plus? No.
Star. So Mala,
Square.
circle.
Oh.
Let's go without me looking at them. And we'll go Jessica.
Plus. Dang,
Squiggle.
the squiggles are always after me.
Let's go Kim.
Circle.
Plus. Now I'm gonna try one. I'm just gonna I think it's a star. Star.
Yeah, killed it.
First thought, best thought here. Marisa.
Plus. Fuck.
Squiggles.
I mean, no, I'm sorry. Fuck.
Jessica.
Star.
Plus. Kim.
Squiggles.
Star.
Ah.
I think it's a plus sign. It's a circle. Marisa, one more.
Square. If it's squiggles,
Square.
great. Square was first. And I was like, hey, squiggles.
Mala.
Squiggles.
Square. Back to back.
Double square.
Kim.
Star.
Plus sign. Jessica.
Squiggles.
Squiggles.
I
You
manifested
got it.
them this time. I told the deck, you give me those squiggles.
Give me squiggles. Okay, I'm gonna tell the deck to give me a square. Give me a square, y'all. Boom. Nope.
Oh, well.
Circle.
Square peg,
Okay.
round
Well, we
hole.
got one card left. Mario, what card is it? You're muted right now, just in case you didn't know that.
I'm doing you guys big favors, right? So square.
Square.
Nice.
So he
Got
killed
it.
it. I'm doing you guys a big
Doesn't even
favor.
need to. He just comes in, drops a square.
I'm
leaves.
I'm negotiating with wizards over here. I'm hoping Sam might stop in
He's
for a
busy.
headliner because
Well,
I can tell you guys are already bailing. He was gonna come.
No, it's but we gotta go. It's we're
gotta
we're
go?
at the it's
Okay.
yeah, we're
okay,
reaching the
it's at
time limit here.
Yeah,
the time
heading
limit,
up too.
right?
Yeah. So
Okay, right on.
so we we'll get Sam on next time. We'll
Okay,
make it
that's
work.
cool.
We'll make it happen.
That's cool.
We'll definitely make it happen because I wanna wrap and chat with Sam again as well. But let's go around real quick and let everybody know where they can find you for like whether it's a website or if you want to be found. Obviously is the whatever you might be working on. Let's start with Mario. You got anything to plug?
So I think we do, Mala. I'll let Mala
Go
be the
ahead.
plugger.
Go ahead.
No, I'll let Mala cut the promo.
No, go ahead.
I've talked enough. So Mala, so we would like to start practicing doing some readings and different stuff. And we have been recording together and it's like doing the different stuff. And we the art therapy thing, or not art therapy, the art hangout, really. It's an art hangout. It's a, what do you call it? I built an art trap house over here. All right. What I do is I lure in artists and I trick them into doing their own art. Isn't that a crazy concept?
That's a crazy. Where can people be able to do this or find you or what's going on?
I've been working on putting together an art link letter. Me and Paul are going to get an art link letter together. Right. So hold on.
Did you
What's
just
the
drop art
email?
link letter on my ass, dude?
Dude, well,
you just dropped
think
an art
you
link
don't-
letter on
you don't
my
think
ass.
art is with us? You don't think art's among us?
Dude,
Hold
I
on.
love art link letter. I haven't heard that name in a really long time. Really love the art link
Hold
letter.
on,
I
bro.
think what's going to have to happen is I'm going to have to push out this link for Mario, at the very least on Mario's side of things, for when this art link letter is actually happening.
Well, dude.
I mean, I believe you. There he is.
You guys have an email set up, so
Yeah. Oh, you got an email set up for it?
So we
Yes.
do.
What's
Mala,
the
will you
email?
I'm dyslexic. Will you give the
Um,
correct information?
hold
I
on,
gave
let
the
me
wrong
double
information
check
out
it.
other places.
So yeah, we're trying to get it all
We just
together.
opened it. We haven't really messed with it yet. I've been being a crazy maniac. I gotta chill out. Because
Yes.
we're about to do cool stuff though. Because when her and I do readings, we're gonna practice. We're gonna do some readings and do different things. But
People can kind of see a mini version of this in the first episode of the Paranormal Carnival. There's a section in the middle where we're kind of doing art, hanging out for about 10, 15 minutes, I think, at the most. That's kind of like a small glimpse into the thing that they'll be running and hosting and doing for people.
so the art thing is the
Yes.
priority, I would say.
So it is Mario Mala Magic at gmail.com.
So
There you go.
Mario Mala Magic at
And Instagram, is that
gmail.com.
right?
Yes.
So you can find the Instagram. I'll link all this stuff in show notes and things like that. You can send an email if you're an artist and you want to be, or of any kind, you want to partake in that. You can send them. Hit up that Gmail and find them on the Instagram for that. Marisa, what do you got?
I got a couple of different places you can find me. If you want functional pottery that supports ritual practices, incense burners, all kinds of cool intentional things, Reiki infused objects, you can head over to LaGuardiaClayworks.com. LaGuardia is spelled like the airport. I also have a Patreon, patreon.com/Marisa LaGuardia. First name only has one S in it, and LaGuardia is spelled like the airport. And if you go to LaGuardia Clayworks, you can also find bookings for Reiki sessions as well. But that's pretty much where you can find it. I also started a TikTok. I'm not telling too many people about it. It's kind of an experiment. But if you want to see me practice expressing online into the void of the algorithm, I'm up there as Spicy Light Prism. You can find me on TikTok. I don't really
Spicy
have
Light Prism on
Spicy
TikTok.
Light Prism.
I like that name.
I do too.
So yeah, I'm
Very,
Spicy
very
Light Prism
cool.
on TikTok. It's a secret
Kim, what do you got?
Yeah, I make Reiki and like energy activation videos. And also I do just like intuitive messages, collective messages and readings every once in a while as well. I'm on TikTok and Instagram, and I started uploading some stuff to YouTube, but it's under the Awakening Mom.
The Awakening Mom.
Yes.
So you can find Kim over there. Highly recommended to be finding everybody. Jessica?
So I do my somatic therapy still, not a registered therapist, but it is some energetic work. So if you are running into mental, physical, or emotional blocks that just won't seem to budge, feel free to reach out to me at zen.lasagna. I've got a link for consults, but you can always just shoot me a voice memo and kind of feel out if we'd be a good fit. I'm also a registered biologist in Western Canada. So if you've got any biology questions, you can hit me up.
Hell yeah. The and Mario, we already got that. And also, what do I have? Well, you can go to my website, ryansingercomedy.com. You can see the tour I'll be on this summer, most of June, July into August. Hopefully, a few more dates will be added. We'll be filming another special, I think, in Indianapolis, Indiana. I'll have more information about that. And that'll be in mid-August. So, but in the meantime, I appreciate you watching or listening. I promise I will have the live stream things figured out. We have no idea what happened on the live stream end of this. So I'll have to look at that later. But we'll figure it out. This will be a video and audio podcast everywhere podcasts can be found. And I appreciate that. On my YouTube page, you can watch the videos as well. Me and Paranormal You, Ryan Sing on Instagram, Ryan Singer Comedy on TikTok, blah, 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 blah. And, I'll be out in the astral plane where I'm trying to spend most of my time for the next 3.5 years. So,
you can come up to Canada if you want to visit.
Yeah, you know what? I need to. I won't leave. Is probably the only issue that you might find with that. I appreciate that. So thank you so much, everybody, for jumping on. I really appreciate it. We're going to be on the second Tuesday of next month, whatever that date is. I guess I could look it up real quick, but I don't have my calendar in front of me. So whatever the second. Oh, you got it? Appreciate that.
Hold on.
The 8th?
I got it. I don't have
April
it. It's the
8th?
8th. Yep.
April 8th. So 4/8. I love that. This one was 3/11, which I love.
Nice.
And the next one is 4/8. On April 8th at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard, and 7 p.m. Central Time. I'm not trying to forget Central Peeps, and Mountain Time as well. There's 6 o'clock. So anyway, well, I love y'all. Thanks for coming and doing this. I really appreciate it. I hope you had a good time. I know I did, and I look forward to the next one.
Thanks so much for
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.